Me personally,
Yeah.
I would like to just I'd like to enjoy parts of life in a different way. I enjoy life, but sometimes I overthink things to death. You get what I mean? Like I'll take any scenario and I will immediately play it out like a robot and come up with all these scenarios. What be
So
it?
let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Here you go talking about your problem. I
Mhm.
asked you what you wanted. What do you want?
Yeah, yeah, that I don't know, I guess. I don't know what I want. I
I
just
mean, I heard that you wanted to enjoy parts of life in a different way.
yeah.
What does that look like for you? How will you know that you're enjoying parts of life in a different way?
I don't know if I ever would because I don't think I've ever seen it from that side. So it'd be
Just
hard.
pretend. Pretend.
Okay. So if I were to pretend and to look at it from a different like if I were to look outside my body at the same person and
Yeah.
I would if I saw them doing this, I would see them just going through life calmly.
Oh, calmly. What does that look like?
Calm to me looks like shorts and flip-flops on the beach. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like
Mm,
that to me feels calm, or me fishing next to the lake. You know what I'm saying, with nobody around me
yeah.
except for maybe my son. That's what calm looks like to me.
Yeah. What does it feel like? What
It,
do you feel in shorts and flip flops?
I feel the wind hitting my, the small breeze hitting my legs. I can actually feel my leg hair kind of moving a little bit with the breeze. I
Yeah,
can feel the water kind of as the wave crashes next to me, kind of hitting me a little bit and refreshing me. I,
that's
I
right.
I can feel it all. I can feel. I see where you're going with this. I really do.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What does it sound like when you're in shorts and flip flops on the beach? What do you hear?
It sounds. I hear the water. I hear the wind. Really, I just like water, I guess.
That's right.
I hear all the sounds around me. The mainly just focusing on the weather and
Yeah.
which I enjoy being out in it.
And what kind of weather is it right now? Are there clouds in the sky?
No, it's sunny for days, not too hot, not too cold. Probably
Just right.
yeah, right as summer hits, you know what I mean? Like right after spring where the
Mm.
temperature is perfect. That'd be it.
And that would be calm for you.
That would be super calm for me. The
And
calmest.
what if I told you you can experience that now? Would you want to?
Yes, I always want to. I'm starting to feel calmer just talking to you about it as we.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you can just allow yourself to feel as calm as you need. And all you have to do is just take a deep breath in and out. That's right. All the way down. That's right. How are your eyes feeling?
Good.
Are they
Heavier
feel? Yeah.
to feel kind of,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's
start
right.
a little bit tired.
Interesting. That's right. What other questions do you have for me?
Well, now you got me in a calm funk, like I
You
maybe
just said you want to be calmer.
I know maybe I need the chaos to
So
time.
let me ask you now,
Yeah.
can a mind like yours be calmed down?
I think you answered my question on the show just now. I mean, yes, I can be calm. And what you did was for the listener, I hope you guys are getting this too. It was really interesting because you just kind of took me down the path. You made me focus on something that calms me, and it actually did. Like it seems so simple, but when you let everything get in the way, right? Inside
That's right.
your mind, when you let all these other intrusive thoughts or just ridiculous thoughts in general get in the way, it gets in the way of your calmness. I already feel better talking to you.
I love that.
Yeah,
So let me give you and your listeners just a quick, easy way to get into this calm state.
okay.
It's it's the Betty Erickson induction. Super simple. You can do it on yourself. It's a way to be a little bit more mindful. And the way that I do it with my clients is I have them, find a comfortable spot and take as long as you need. Find a place that you can sit, relax. If you're sitting down, feet on the floor, hands not touching, maybe both on every leg, right? And I want you to just in the here and now notice 3 things that you see, 3 things that you hear, and 3 things that you feel. And then the same thing, 2 things you see, hear, feel, 1 thing you see, hear, feel. Take a deep breath in. And then I want you to just go back into a past pleasant memory. Anytime that you felt really, really good, close your eyes now. Good, that's right. And notice 3 things that you see in this past pleasant memory, 3 things that you hear, and 3 things that you feel. That's right, all the way down. And as you notice 2 things that you see, 2 things that you hear, and 2 things that you feel, start to notice that changing sensation as you take a deep breath in and out. That's right. And 1 thing that you see, 1 thing that you hear, and 1 thing that you feel as the muscles in your neck start to relax as you drop your chin down to your chest. That's right, all the way down. Perfect. And that slight swaying that you may be feeling can just let you even deeper into the sense of peace and calm. And I want your mind to do an internal search and find that resource that you need to install. And only come back to the here and now once that resource is fully and completely installed. Hi,
Hello.
where did you go?
I went to the Ozarks where my grandparents live. That's my happy place.
I love that.
To Table Rock Lake. I went there every summer. Pretty much any time. Yeah. I went there. I could see it fully. I could feel once again it's that lake scenario. Maybe that's what always makes me happy. I could hear the boats, going by. I could hear my grandpa hammering in the barn making something. I could feel the whole thing. I feel great.
Good.
Yeah.
And that is hypnosis. I didn't tell you anything. I didn't do anything. You did it all yourself.
Yeah.
Hypnosis is not something, it's not a magic power. I'm not a villain. It's not something that I'm doing to you.
Right.
It's something that you're doing to yourself.
It's the power of suggestion, correct? It's you're suggesting techniques that we can use on ourselves and we can get there. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so we have had a lot of experiences in the garage, and we've had that paranormal group Paracon there before, but they never investigated the garage. So you guys were the first ones to do that. And it was crazy to see what you guys caught in there. That whatever, what is that thing called that you said?
SLS.
Yeah, the guy was like showing himself
Yeah.
like hanging from the rafters, and it was really creepy to see, but it validates like how we have felt in the garage,
Right.
and things that we've seen in the garage. We've always seen like this black shadow person in that corner where he was showing himself. And so just to see you get that was crazy.
That's kind of validation to you guys, like you said, right? Because I mean, what the thing is we didn't want to go in there and spook you guys more or anything, because that's not our whole thing. Like we're all 3 pretty calm people, and so we just wanted to make you guys know that you're not crazy, that there can be something there or there's nothing there, but you're not crazy. Like, so let's take all this equipment. I know at one point we were catching it and I was reaching my hand backwards, and it was actually, you could see the joint picture grabbing my hand, and I was feeling a charge in my arm, like a cold spot. And to me, I think that's evidence. I think that's pretty substantial. Can I say every SLS hit is a ghost? No. I don't understand the technology enough to say for sure, but I think if it corroborates with what everyone's saying and how you're feeling, I think you can't ignore that.
And so a lot of my books are geared towards like spycraft or self-defense.
So this is like so espionage for the listeners, so that we explain, this is like spy bond type stuff, right? I mean, like what you would think spies would be doing, correct? When it comes
Yeah,
to defense.
what they actually do, and in reality, if you were a spy and everybody knew, called you Mr. Bond as soon as you walked in the casino, you wouldn't be a really good spy.
Right, right.
It's more, it's not quite as exciting as a James Bond movie. That's all kind of over. You don't want to get in car chases if you can help it.
Yeah.
I teach people, like, for instance, there's a thing called a surveillance detection route, which a foreign intelligence officer, let's say, since we're Americans, let's say a case officer or an operations officer for the CIA goes over and he has to meet with some Russian source. Well, he needs to make sure that he protects his source. So he does what it's called a surveillance detection route, and will turn in odd ways, will double back on himself if he's driving to meet his source, because he needs to make sure he's not under any kind of surveillance.
Yeah.
And so for instance, let's say you were driving down the street from your house and you felt like you were being followed, right? You might take a right turn. And if the other car behind you takes a right turn, that could happen. That's a possibility. You take another right turn. Okay, they took the second right turn. It looks very suspicious, but it could happen. So you take a third right turn. You're essentially moving in a circle.
Right.
If they take that third right turn, it's a pretty good chance that they're following you. And so you're not looking to lose them at that point. You're not looking to start a car chase. You're just looking to figure out if you're being followed or not. And if you're being followed, you probably aren't going to go home or go to work. You might get a cop's attention or something, but you want to expose that you're being followed. Another one is if you get on the highway, you get off the highway, and then you get immediately on the highway, then you get off the highway, and then you immediately get on the highway, and you're just doing weird movements like that. You can really eliminate the fact that anyone should happen to be going the same way as you. They're following you. So these things that can apply to spies working under conditions where there might be surveillance. Well, there are what's called follow home crimes, where someone follows you home from the store and cases your house to come back and rob it later. And so those things are extremely applicable. The same skills that a CIA case officer might use, you might also find helpful to defend yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like around the holidays, especially, you hear a lot of things. We have Christmas coming up. People are buying gifts. They're putting them under the tree. You hear on the news, like these houses got hit. Like, so what would a guy like you in this situation, because you're prepared, if somebody broke into your house, if for example, and they're doing something like this, what would you do? What would be your first plan of action? I mean, would you grab a gun? would you, are your weapons, your hands and feet? I mean, what would you do in that case?
So I'm not going to specifically tell you what I would do,
Okay.
but I'm going to tell you what would be a very good, because I don't know your level of training.
Right.
I know the issue as far as like guns, people are either left or right, and so I don't get into that at all.
Okay.
I just want to give you something that you could do, the 16-year-old girl could do, the 70-year-old grandmother could do, and you don't need any kind of special training.
Okay.
One of the best things that I recommend to keep near your bed, in case someone were to break in or something, is a fire extinguisher. So think of like a can of pepper spray or can of mace, right? You spray it in someone's eyes. You can do the same thing with a fire extinguisher. You have a bunch of freeze-dried chemicals. You spray in their face. It's going to blind them. It's going to disorient them. And then you have the metal canister that you can kind of use like a battering ram if you need to. You can hit them with it. If they have a knife, you can use it to block yourself. And then if you need to put out a fire, you have a fire extinguisher. So that's one of the most useful things that I can tell you to keep on yourself. Now, there's kind of a myth about break-in that, someone will break in the middle of the night and try to steal your stuff. Most of the time, break-ins like that happen actually in the daytime.
Okay.
When it's known that people are going to be at work, that people aren't going to be in the house. Think of criminals as kind of lazy, also kind of that work smarter, not harder thing. They're not looking to break in when you're home and possibly have a confrontation with you.
Right. They don't want the fight either. You know what I mean? They just want to get in and get out, correct?
Right. They don't want to possibly be caught. They don't want to possibly be hurt. They don't want someone who's going to call the cops on them. They don't want to mess with someone's dog. So they're looking for the easiest place to get in and get out without getting caught. So the chances of someone actually breaking into your house at night is very rare. It certainly happens, but they're not necessarily looking to steal your TV or something. It could be a much more dangerous situation where they're looking for, say, a woman in the house to victimize.
Right.
Or something. So if someone's breaking in when you're home, it's a really dangerous situation. Honestly, if someone was coming to take my TV or whatever, it's not that big a deal for me.
Right. Just take the TV, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I always say defend persons, not property.
Right.
So if I am walking down the street with, $40 in my wallet and someone puts a gun in my face and says, "Give me your wallet," take it, take the $40. Take the cards that I can cancel, whatever. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take it out of my pocket and I'm going to throw it as far as I can. Now you have a choice. Do you want to go after my wallet or do you want to go after me? I know people who will set up what's kind of called a toss wallet, where it's like a fake wallet, just for the purposes of tossing it away. And depending on where you live, you might never use it, or you might actually be in danger of getting mugged somewhere.
It's not a bad idea, really. I mean, it never really occurred to me to have a toss wallet like here in Lincoln, Nebraska. But I mean, if I were in a bigger city or something, it's really not a terrible idea, honestly.
I've known a lot of people who've done that overseas and have had to use it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey there, human friend. Are you tired of your beard looking like a bird's nest after a windstorm?
Whoa, what? Who's there?
It's just me, your friendly neighborhood Sasquatch. I couldn't help but notice your, rustic beard situation.
Right? Thanks for pointing that out, Bigfoot. But what can I do about it?
Fear not, my follicle challenge friend. Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. We specialize in grooming products that'll make your beard as majestic as a redwood tree.
Elegant Sasquatch? Sounds fancy. What do they have?
We've got everything a discerning Sasquatch or human needs to keep their facial foliage in top condition. Beard washes to cleanse away the forest grime, beard balms to tame those wild whiskers, beard oils to nourish and hydrate, and beard butters to make it as soft as a bunny's fur.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. Why should I choose the Elegant Sasquatch, though?
Because, my friend, we believe in sophistication for our outer beast. Just because you're a Sasquatch or a human doesn't mean you can't be classy.
I never thought I'd hear a Sasquatch talk about sophistication. All right, you've convinced me. Where can I find these products?
Head on over to the elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use the code Super Show to save 20%. Your beard will thank you.
Thanks, Sasquatch. I'll make sure to check it out. And hey, maybe next time we meet, my beard will be as elegant as yours.
Now that's the spirit, my friend. Happy grooming.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Spooky Month Spooktacular. This is Cain Stevens Super Show for 1 month only. It's the Cain Stevens Paranormal Super Show once again. I have a super guest, maybe the superest guest that I've had thus far, to be honest with you, and I'm pretty pumped about it. I met this gentleman at the Villisca Axe Murder House, and he honestly might be one of the most famous people that I've interviewed so far. So believe it or not, so I've seen him on I've seen him, you've seen him on all sorts of ghost shows out there, from Paranormal Lockdown to Ghost Adventures. So let's give let's give an ovation for Johnny Hauser, everybody. Johnny, how are you, man?
Man, that's like the best intro I've ever had, I think, anywhere.
Right on, man. Yeah. I know. I wish we all had hype men. You know what I mean? People who could hype us up everywhere we went.
Yeah, like when I go to work, I just need you on the mic going, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We can make that happen, man. I would love to be at the Villisca Axe House or wherever you work every day and hang out, man. But thank you for agreeing to be on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So you are kind of my you're not my first guest, but you're one of my major guests for my big October. I used to have the Cain Stevens Paranormal Super Show, but I kind of shifted it to this Cain Stevens Super Show where I just talk to everybody. I'm basically the Oprah of Lincoln, Nebraska, so to speak, except for I have the money.
You get a prize. You get a prize. Everybody gets a prize.
That's it, man. I didn't tell you that I'm hiding a prize in your place somewhere too. Right?
It's under my seat right now.
Yeah. But man, when I talked to you I took my wife and kids to a Villisca day trip. I've been there many times. And I was pretty excited because I went there with trigger objects because my wife is, and I don't know if you remember this or not, my wife is related to Donna Bentley, who has a pretty
Yes.
big tie to the whole thing, with the suspects and everything else. She brought
Huge.
some trigger letters and different things, hoping to get something. We kind of showed them to you. I mean, what do you make of all that, man? What do you think about Donna?
When you guys came and she said she was related to Donna, I'm just like, what? Like,
Yeah,
it took me a second. And she showed me the letters, and I was honestly shaking.
yeah,
Like my hands were trembling. It's like Donna held this. Like
yeah,
it's such a huge part of the story.
right.
And like I still talk about it. I just told the overnights about it today as I'm
Mhm.
checking them in. It's been a weird season for day tours because right before you guys, we had a lady. She goes, "Yeah, I'm a direct descendant of one of the suspects."
Oh wow.
I'm like, "What?" She
Yeah.
goes, she did the DNA ancestry swab, and it came up. If you have a family tree, it's going to show it on this website. Her great great grandpa was Henry Lee Moore, who killed his mom and grandma 2 months after this in Columbia, Missouri, with an axe. So from my point of view, I'm just like, what is happening this year?
Right.
Because there's the story. I mean, you had 5 years of gossip, 5 years of trying to figure out why this happened. One of the scenarios was JB had an affair with Donna, who was Jones at the time. And then to have direct relation, it's just like, wow. I remember just picking your wife's brain. I'm sure I was driving her crazy. It's like, what was she like? Did you know her? Do you know anything about her? Tell me anything.
What if I said, since I have quite a few of them, what if I said maybe I would donate one of them to you? Would you be interested in something like that?
That would be absolutely amazing. That would go in a glass case
Yeah.
in the house for sure, or in the barn.
I think
Not sure.
I think I can make that happen, man. I've got quite a few. I too was shaking when my father-in-law handed them to me because they know how excited I am about the paranormal and
Yeah.
the history. I'm originally from Iowa, and just the whole Villisca thing is just fascinating, just in general. And it was just like I was shaking too, and so they're laughing at me. So it's
Yeah.
fun to see other people's reactions like that.
And it's just like these would be nothing to anyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe like, oh, that's old great grandma's letter, but
Right.
it's so tied in with the history, and it's her handwriting. Her hands touched it, and just wow. One of my good friends in Indiana is obsessed with Donna.
Mhm.
Like she wants to start a bar in Villisca and call it Donna's High Steppers. She's
Yeah,
like, I
right
just
on.
love Donna Jones. I love her. Everything about her. I just love this woman. Like, there's
Yeah.
people obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
It's crazy when you read stuff online about her and they call her the town harlot and all this stuff and everything. It's like, man, that's rough, dude. Like give the lady she's not around. Give the lady some peace. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to be called the town harlot.
And I mean, what constitutes being a town harlot in 1912?
Right.
Talking to a person, having your shoulder exposed.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I guarantee she was a fun, wild woman who lived an awesome life and has a ton of stories. Like, I
Exactly.
want to sit down and talk to her. Like,
She
would
was a
be
beautiful
one.
lady too, It's like, oh, you're good, man.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. I'm hoping that was like the president of the United States or something, something.
It was an alarm that I had on my phone that I hit skip.
No, but that I just she was a beautiful lady, and so that probably ruffled people's feathers in general. The fact,
Oh,
in
yeah.
a small town that, maybe I can't say for sure. I don't live in Villisca, but maybe back then it was slim pickings on the hot chicks, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and like we've all had girlfriends that have seen a quote good-looking girl walking down the street, and they're like, "Look at that slut."
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just no reason behind it, but it's just that.
Yeah.
A good-looking girl in Villisca, of a town of not many, and guys like her, of course, or the girls are going to have that perception of her. I think she was probably just a outspoken, beautiful young woman here in town that did what she wanted and lived free and was fiercely independent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and another thing that would probably confuse people is when I say Donna Bentley. Donna Bentley was her, her family name before every, and that's where I have the tie to them is Donna, is related to my wife's family, which is the Bentley family. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'm hoping that, I didn't know if the letters would be a good trigger item, but it can't hurt, right? If you want to go, I mean, not that I'm trying to I'm not a provoking type of guy with paranormal investigation, but I mean, a trigger item is something where you might bring out a reaction of some sort, some sort of, response would be great, right?
Right, exactly. And of any, a lot of people will bring teddy bears and balls as trigger objects, but a letter from Donna,
Yeah.
wow, like 1 in a million.
Yeah, man.
That is insane. It made I'm still talking about it to people I see today.
And that's awesome. My wife became an instant celebrity in Villisca, Iowa in a matter of seconds, right?
Right, and Richard Estep, who's an author.
Yeah.
He's written I don't know how many books, countless books, happened to be there that day. And I'm like, Richard, she's related to Donna. And he's like, what? Can I go talk to her? Which one? Point her out to me. And I'm like, that one over there. I felt weird, but I mean, he was like in awe of her, It's just like, it's incredible when you're into the Villisca lore and history. That is such a character, such a pivotal character in the whole story.
Mm-hmm. Well, this could be like a major plot line in like a movie. Like this could be the big reveal. Like, the reason that I married her and everything was because I was always into the Villisca house,
Right. Yeah. You stalked her from birth and then you found her and made her fall in
I
love
just
with
watched
you.
a movie like that where well, they're all like that really, but a lot of it is like that. But my wife's a beautiful lady, great lady. I'm lucky to have her. I'm in awe of her, in a lot of other ways, but it is very cool that she has a tie to that.
What if you're
now let's talk about you and the paranormal, man, because you literally are like when I watch ghost shows and stuff, I'm like, wait, that's Johnny. Like I've seen that guy. I've talked to that guy before. You seem to be in everything, man. What the heck? What gives?
It's such a weird story. And I kind of got to go way back to childhood because as I look back, it's like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
So when I was a little baby, my mom, we lived in a farmhouse and my mom was putting laundry away on the second story. She had the windows open. It was a nice summer day. Evidently, I crawled out the second story window and fell clear down. I can't imagine the horror in my mom's eyes. She ran down to check, like, oh my gosh. Goes outside. I'm fine. I don't even have a scratch on me.
Right.
They didn't even take me to the doctor, which is probably what's wrong with me today,
For sure.
But she always said, oh, the angels were watching over you. Every house I have lived in, weird stuff has happened. And I've since gone back to all those houses, knocked at the door and said, hey, I used to live here. Anything weird happen? Which is super awkward to do. Mm-hmm. And every one of them said no. It's like the most peaceful house we've ever lived in. So that's when I started to think there's haunted houses and there's haunted people.
Right.
My first job I ever had was filling in graves at the cemetery. Like 14 years old, and that's 14-year-old brain scooping dirt, throwing it in and watching it fall over a casket's pretty messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Yeah.
I ended up becoming a musician in Nashville for a little over 10 years. Got tired of that. Just like if my drummer slips his pop one more time, I'm just going to blow my brains out. Like too much time. And nothing is more depressing than being in a hotel on a Sunday afternoon, thousands of miles away from home alone. Yeah. That just sucks, Yeah. Met my now ex-wife, which sounds like a country song, in Des Moines. She wanted to move to Villisca, where her family was from. I was tired of that life, so I said, yeah, let's do it. I pick the brain of Darwin every day as he's working on the house because I was a big true crime nerd. He offered me a job, and pretty soon the TV shows started coming. But it's just like I worked my butt off in music forever, and we had marginal success, if that. I mean, it's such a hard industry.
Yes, it is.
I come here, I don't even try. TV show, TV show, TV show, TV show, TV show. And then I'm making friends with all the TV show people. So like, hey, I live next door. Don't sit out here and sweat. Go grab a beer, take a nap on my couch. I don't care, So I've just remained friends with them. And through that, it's like, hey, I'm doing this. Can I call you in on this? And it's just networking type of a thing. And without even trying, here's the paranormal stuff. So it's just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I just decided to go full weird with it. Like, here I am. This is what I'm doing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing. I'm super fortunate to, when I wanted to learn about the paranormal, I had nobody to talk to except for these TV show people. So everything I've learned is from Ghost Adventures, Ghost Lab, Dead Files, Kindred Spirits, Destination Fear, just on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like living in Haight-Ashbury in the 60s. You're going to run into Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Grateful Dead. You're all going to be friends, being at the X House right when TAPS started. Right place, right time. It just all kind of fell together.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any such thing as what do I want to say, as a coincidence. I mean, some of it is, you just like with music, I'm a musician also. Some of it's just dumb luck. But some of it is just you just fall in with the right people at the right time, man. It sounds like you had the right storm going on to let you break into the field hard.
I think the universe, the world, whatever, God will lead you to what you're supposed to be doing. You can try and resist the path and do your own thing, but you're going to be brought back to what your purpose is.
Yeah, absolutely.
For whatever reason, this is my purpose, which have you seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, of course.
So where he's doing the essay on Loch Ness Monster, and he's like, scientists are placing explosives at the bottom of Loch Ness. I did that. Like, I did that exact thing in 7th grade, and everybody was laughing and thought I was such a dork. And, here I am.
Somebody saw that little speech you made, and they capitalized on it. Like, this would be great for.
Yeah, such a nerd. But I had red sweatpants tucked into snakeskin cowboy boots with a fanny pack.
Man. Now that's a look.
It's a wonder I've ever kissed a girl in my life. Like,
did you have a rat tail also?
I never had a rat tail, but I had a mullet, a homemade mullet that I cut myself.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like, a lot of my friends that know me have known me my whole life. It's not a shock what I do. They're like, right. Of course you are. Because one of the houses we lived in, stuff was happening constantly. And so I organized with my buddies at the school that didn't believe in ghosts, come stay the night with me. So I'm like organizing overnights at my house as a little kid, and they'd all run out there scared. They'd tell their friends, more people would want to stay the night. So basically exactly what I do today at the Axe Murder House.
Yeah, exactly. And well, you've been to I talked to you about some other locations as well. I know that you've been to Malvern Manor. I'm going to Malvern Manor with my investigation team in a couple of days from now. We're just going to do the day thing, but just stay there all day. And then we're going to get a feel for it and do a night. What do you feel about Malvern Manor? I mean, I saw you I watched your episode with Paranormal Lockdown last night, just kind of pre-gaming for this and that, and kill two birds with one stone. And it sounds like you've got a little bit of a history with Malvern Manor, as well as the Sally House, the Atchison, all these houses. But what do you think is going on at the Malvern Manor?
So with Malvern, how all that started for me personally, like I knew of Josh Hurd. It's a small community. I interviewed for Brush with Evil 1 and 2 with him. I knew he's a filmmaker. It's like, cool, yeah, I'll interview, do this. I'll help you out. You help me out.
Yeah.
Well, I decided to do 30 days straight at the Axe Murder House. And I'm like, I'm delving into this. I'm going to figure out what is even haunting this place, because it just is so different every night. I was getting EVPs of Agness and the captain. Like, I don't know what this is. People are, in the meantime, Facebook messaging me, hey, I was at Malvern Manor last night. Your name came out on the Geoport. And the first couple, I thought, okay, sure. And just kind of rolled my eyes. Then it happened again and again and again. I'm like, I have to go to Malvern.
Yeah.
So I'm touring with Josh. He's like, the captain used to own this when it was a hotel. This is the room that Agness hung herself in. I'm like, I'm getting these names at Villisca, and people at Malvern are getting my name. So I'm kind of walking around. Josh just lets you free roam, and I'm down the nurse's wing. I see something corner of my eye, like peripheral vision, and I stop and look, and it's like the darker than dark. And I turn my head and close my eyes to readjust my vision and look again. Rushes at me. So I text Nick Groff. I'm like, dude, you got to get here right now. Like, this place is crazy. That place is so multi-layered. You have the cottage hotel, the old folks home, the mental home. And I honestly I don't think the ghosts of all three of those even know the other exists. I don't think they cohabitate together.
Right.
It's like you go one section, it's a whole different location. You go upstairs, it's a whole different location. You go there, the attic, it's a whole different location. I've even thought Gracie, the lady with the multiple personalities, maybe her multiple personalities are so strong, those are what's haunting this place. Her made-up personalities, because I was down there one day, and down at the end of the nurse's wing is a white exit door. And I looked at it, and it looked like a child's stick figure jaggedly walking across the door. I was staring right at it. And my first thought was, dude, did Josh put something in these brownies that he gave me earlier? Or like, what is happening? He swore he didn't. And I never forgot that. And I Googled it, and I Googled it, and I Googled it, and I finally found one website on like page 23 of Paranormal Stickman. And the guy drew a picture of what he witnessed is exactly what I saw. That is the first time I saw something, then later found out it's a thing, like months later. I have no idea what's going on there, but it's crazy. It's insane. It's active. It's my home away from home. I love that place.
So, I mean, are there any cautionary tales you want to tell us before going there? If anybody is going to go there, I mean, are you going to experience something there? And if you are, do you think that it's malevolent?
I don't think there's anything there that you need to be like afraid of. Well, I mean, it's not for first timers,
Yeah.
I get a lot of young teams down at the Axe House. It's like, this is our first investigation. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. Malvern's hardcore for sure. There is an entity comes out as one, calls itself one quite a bit. That's kind of to be wary of. But a lot of it's like Gracie, where their personalities. Hank, this old cadre old man that used to throw rocks at little kids. He's a crude and tells dirty jokes, and his old Western shirts are still in the dresser, and he had a collection of fingernail clippings that he kept.
Oh my!
That's still in the dresser. So,
why?
My advice would be have somebody on your team eat one of the fingernails just for science reasons to see what Hank does.
To give him special powers, right?
Yeah, I think so. I could never get Josh to do it, so
I don't know, man. I've done some pretty crazy dares. I might be your Huckleberry on that one.
Right? Just give me a little shot to chase it down, and
yeah.